Welcome to How to Run Profitable Retreats. I am Leni Cavazos, retreat strategist and host of the show for coaches, entrepreneurs, and transformational leaders who want to design retreats that actually make money. If you've ever put your heart into a retreat only to walk away exhausted or worse, broke, you are not alone. This podcast is here to change that. Each week, I'll bring you stories, strategies, and expert insights to help you create meaningful, transformational retreats that also support your business, your lifestyle, and your bottom line. Let's make your next retreat not just powerful, but profitable.
Hello, welcome to another podcast episode of How to Run Profitable Retreats. I am your host, Leni Cavazos, and I am so excited to be here with you. So, as you might have heard in one of our other episodes, we are podcast number 3 on retreats. So, if you like these episodes, please follow us and leave a review so more people can get access to it. Now, I've been talking about building a 6-figure retreat business, and we'll continue this conversation as we move forward because I truly believe that you deserve to have a business from your retreats. It's not just about having a hobby or hosting just transformational events. I already assume that you want to change the world. You want to impact people's lives. But transformation without profit isn't sustainable. So in order for us to get that, we need to have a system. We need to have a model. It's the way we run businesses regardless of the product or service that we're putting together. We've been going through the past couple of episodes through a process of understanding the different pillars to building a 6-figure retreat business. Pillar number 1, design for profit. We spoke about designing for profit from the space of creating this business model that is perfect for you and aligned with your business goals, your capacity, and that dream, big vision that you want to create for yourself. We also spoke about pillar number 2, price for profit, and how it's so important to have profit in mind when we're putting our budgets together. And the last pillar that we covered was sell for profit. Sell for profit is all about having this mindset and understanding that in order to sell and market your retreats, you need to keep that in mind. Now, we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into this journey because I want you to see that it is possible. Now, today's episode, we're going to be covering pillar number 4. And pillar number 4 is not even in the book that I just launched. And by the way, if you want a copy of that book, you can find the link on the show notes because it's now available on Amazon. And thank you so much for your purchase beforehand. Now, in this book, I do not talk about pillar number 4 because this is extra for experts. You do not want to achieve or attempt actually pillar number 4 if you have not excelled at the first 3 pillars first, okay? So if you're not there yet, you might just want to skip this episode all on its own. But if you're curious, just stay on as we uncover what scale for profit means. Scale for profit is pillar number 4 of building a 6-figure retreat business. And what does scale for profit means? It means about the different possibilities in order for you to grow and scale that business into something that if you wanted to one day, you could actually sell. Yes, you could actually sell your business. We spoke about this on pillar number 1, design for profit. You need to build your business model in a way that you could sell one day if that's what you wanted. We also spoke about it deeper into the space of would your actually business pass the Shark Tank test? Would someone actually invest in your business? Do you know your numbers and what's happening? Now, scaling for profit has very different layers into the space of what can happen and where and how do we want to show up in the world. Scale for profit. The word kind of says it on its own. Right? We have something in one size and then we want to scale it. We want to make it bigger. We want to make it larger, right? Larger. There is, for example, a company right? James Yates, he was a guest in one of our previous podcast episodes. He has a retreat company. That means that he hosts multiple retreats per year. And that does not mean that he is the facilitator of every single retreat. That is a way to scale for profit, having a retreat company. So, in order to understand this a little bit better, we have a retreat leader that hosts retreats on their own, single, separate retreats that might be part of a business. Then we have a retreat business where in our ecosystem of services and offers, retreats do play a big part on it. It doesn't matter how many retreats per year, but they're engraved into every single thing that we do. And then we have retreat companies where they host multiple retreats per year. And they have a business model that also allows them to move outside of them being the organizers, the hosts, the everything behind the scenes. Bigger scope of type of retreats. So that's one way of scaling. But my favorite way of considering scaling goes beyond that. For me, scaling comes from this place of creating and building relationships where your clients come back over and over and over again. So your business scales into this model of rinse and repeat, where your sales efforts, your marketing efforts can be reduced in a way because of everything that you put behind the scenes. And in order for me to talk more about this, I need to tell you a little bit behind the scenes of how did I get into this space of building and managing these customer relationships. Now, it all started with a dream. I remember when I started my degree in restaurant management, I wanted to work in the hospitality space because I cared about people and I understood that this was a great way for people to connect and provide service. Now, when I did my interview to get into college, I also knew I did not want to work every single Christmas and New Year's in my life. I was okay doing it for a couple of years, but that was not my end goal. So I told myself, where could I work that would allow me to work in the hospitality space, but does not mean that I am working on property, right? On the floor. I was like, ooh, the corporate office for Marriott hotels. I was like, ooh, that sounds cool and exciting. You know, as a youngster, I was like, yes, let's do this. I did not know how I was going to get there or what was the path I needed to take. Little did I knew, I ended up moving to Dubai to work at the Ritz-Carlton, and I got myself a job as a server because I knew that if I wanted to lead, I needed to know how to do things. I needed to understand what was going on behind the scenes. But I was not going to stay there. I knew I had to do things differently if I wanted to grow fast and if I wanted to get to my goals that I had set up for myself. So from the moment I got there, I started working my ass off. There's no other way to talk about it. I was working 13 hours a day, crazy hours. But within 6 months of actually being in that job as a server, I was the lead trainer for that restaurant. That meant I trained people in standard operating procedures that I love. As I went deeper into this space of growing, people started noticing me. Restaurant managers were like, what is she doing for this restaurant? Because she's also creating different promotions to get more clients through the door. That's how we started doing baby showers for afternoon tea and whatnot. Beautiful, fun times in my life. I moved to the beach restaurant and I was designing menus and promotions and campaigns. And again, there were nine restaurants in the hotel. We're like, who's this girl and what is she doing differently? How can we get more of her? So I moved into a role of food and beverage marketing. And that was so much fun. I got to do public relations activations and events, and I made it snow for New Year's Eve. I had ballerinas dancing through the hallways for one whole month to celebrate festive season, and they were dancing to the Nutcracker. And I just kept going and going and going and going. Rebranded 9 restaurants, launched a brunch, helped rebrand the spa, and much, much more. Remember in one of the previous episodes, I spoke about how I love spreadsheets, and I was doing revenue. Well, I was doing revenue for the restaurants so we could increase the profit from outside guests. And we managed to increase it by 36%. Now, after you rebrand all the restaurants and the spa, you're like, well, what's next? So I knew there was a next step for me. So I started looking for jobs. And little that I knew, I actually ended up having a job at Marriott's corporate office for Middle East and Africa. I know, cheers for me, because I made it in 3.5 years when people take usually 10 years to move from a property level to a corporate office. And I was so lucky that it worked out in the specific time where there was the merger from Starwood Hotels, Marriott Hotels, and the Ritz-Carlton Rewards. So 3 loyalty programs. And I was hired to be part of the team that launched Marriott Bonvoy. And Marriott Bonvoy is the largest loyalty program for hotels in the world. And I was part of the team that launched it in Middle East and Africa. Absolutely amazing. And I mean, I got to have so much fun. I hosted dinners in front of the Giza pyramids, private concerts for Craig David, dinners in the summer palace of the King of Saudi Arabia, Alice in Wonderland immersive dinners, private concerts in South Africa, you name it. Beautiful, beautiful opportunities. But honestly, beyond that, what I learned and I felt truly, truly passionate about was loyalty marketing. That really, it means customer relationship management. And for me, this is how you scale your business. And this does not mean that you need to put a program just like Starbucks where every time you go for more coffees, you get more points and then eventually you get free coffee. No. Loyalty marketing, it's all about building relationships so people trust the brand. It's about building trust. So then you have a guest like the one I had when I did one of the events in Egypt that says, Marriott Rewards is the best loyalty program in the world. That's what we're achieving. This deep, deep loyalty where people do not even consider going somewhere else because what they get with you is so powerful that there's no questions about it. And that's for me what really means scaling for profit. Scaling your relationships, scaling loyalty, scaling trust. Putting all the systems that you already have together in a way that people, it's easy for them to say, yes, I want to come back. When is your next retreat? Sign me up. And it's not even just about retreats. It's about, you have a mastermind for those who come to your retreats? Where do I pay? That's what scaling for profit means. Taking everything you have and just making it bigger, creating a bigger connection with people, nurturing them, taking it to the next level. Up and up and up and up and up and up and up. So you can create an impact in people's life. You can create transformation and have a profitable business so you can keep serving them in the future. So you can have scholarships. So you can help the world. So you can donate money to your favorite charity. How does that sound for you? Is scaling for profit something that actually feels about how much I care about my clients, that I am going above and beyond to serve them? But in order to do that, I need to take care of myself first. I need to make sure that I have a business where people can rely on. A business where I'm not going to tell them one day, I'm so sorry, I have canceled the retreats because there's not enough signups, there's not enough attendees. A retreat where you don't have to be, hey, we have removed this activity because there's no money to cover for it. There's maybe no photographer or no cacao ceremony or no breath work, or maybe there's no DJ, maybe there's no lighting, maybe we remove the transport. Who cares? Scaling for profit is all about building a consistent business that you can scale, you can grow, and you can rinse and repeat and make it consistent. And honestly, where it just feels so aligned with who you are and what you bring to the table that there is no question when people are considering which retreat should I attend. Now, we do not cover this in the masterclass. So if you are in these 3 pillars before, you definitely want to join our 4-hour masterclass. For this one, if you're ready to scale your business, you want to be booking a consultation with me. You can find the links in the chat, but just know that in order to be ready for this, that it's a one-on-one coaching container, the other 3 steps of the process need to be done. This is about moving from a 6-figure to a 7-figure retreat business. It's for those who are action takers, who are not scared. So if that's you, I can't wait to have a conversation with you. Anyway, until next time,